Alright, anime fans, buckle up! Today we're diving into 15 underrated fantasy anime you probably slept on, packed with epic battles, wild plots, and characters who refuse to follow the hero handbook. Spoilers? Maybe. Just a little. Kicking off with Sentenced to be a Hero. This one sneaks in like a ninja. Underappreciated, but full of charm. You've got our protagonist, the ultimate unlucky dude, who's literally sentenced by fate to be the hero of a cursed kingdom. Classic zero to hero vibes, but with a twist. He's not your flashy, overpowered type. Nope, he's more like the guy who trips over his own sword but somehow saves the day anyway. Watching him stumble through trials while the kingdom watches like it's reality TV? Comedy gold. The animation isn't ultra-modern, sure, but it nails medieval fantasy aesthetics. Side characters are delightfully weird, plot twists hit just right, and yes, the villain? Actually threatening without being a generic mustache twirler. If you like heroes who fail spectacularly, yet still shine, this one's a hidden gem. Sliding to Jack of all trades, party of none. This anime knows how to poke fun at standard RPG tropes. Our main guy is basically the Swiss Army knife of adventurers, competent at everything, but no one seems to appreciate him. The humor hits because it's self-aware. Every dungeon crawl feels like a roast of RPG logic. Meanwhile, the characters around him are either completely useless or hilariously overdramatic, which makes his meh, I got this attitude even funnier. Animation is solid for a mid-2000s show, with fight scenes that actually land and aren't just flashy garbage. You'll catch yourself laughing at the absurdity of every encounter, while still secretly rooting for him. It's like watching someone ace a test while the rest of the class flails. Satisfying and infuriating at the same time. Definitely underrated because it's clever, not just flashy. Landing on Shingu, Secret of the Stellar Wars. This one's got that 90s, early 2000s space fantasy vibe that makes you feel like a kid again. Picture an alien invasion, superpowered kids, and a town that refuses to act normal. Chaos everywhere. The protagonist is the typical reluctant hero, but what sets it apart is the emotional depth. Relationships are messy, funny, and sometimes downright heartbreaking, a rare combo for its era. The animation has that retro charm, and the fight choreography? Surprisingly cinematic. Villains actually have motives, which is a breath of fresh air compared to cookie-cutter evil overlords. Humor pops up at unexpected times, keeping things lively without derailing the stakes. If you want fantasy, sci-fi, and teen drama mashed together with a nostalgic aesthetic, Shingu deserves a rewatch. Honestly, it's like stumbling onto a secret candy shop of old-school anime brilliance. Looking at Izetta, the Last Witch. If you love Weeb aesthetics, but want a magical twist, this one's for you. Izetta is literally a witch with a laser focus on protecting her country. Think magical tank meets flying sorceress. It's got the tension of war drama, but also sprinkles in magical mayhem that makes you go, wait, did that just happen? The animation is gorgeous. Crisp landscapes, fluid battles, and explosions that make your jaw hurt. Izetta herself? Charming, stubborn, and completely relatable. The villains are the perfect mix of intimidating and morally grey, which keeps the stakes high. And the humour is subtle but hits, usually at the expense of rigid military formalities. If this flew under your radar, you're missing one of those shows where fantasy and history collide beautifully. And yes, the finale will punch your heart with feels. Sliding into Rocker, Braves of the Six Flowers. This one's like an anime-sized murder mystery in a fantasy world. 6 heroes summoned to save the world, 1 extra shows up, chaos ensues. Classic whodunit energy. What's brilliant is the paranoia and trust games between the characters. You spend half the time questioning everyone, including yourself. Art and animation are solid, fight choreography is clean, and character designs? Chef's kiss. The humour sneaks in, often through awkward interactions or sly sarcasm, which balances the tension. Villains are mysterious, but the real draw is the mind games among the heroes, plotting, bluffing, accusing. Every episode leaves you guessing. If you like fantasy, but also love strategy, manipulation, and characters who aren't just good guy, bad guy, this is a must-watch. Number 11 is one of those sleeper hits where smart storytelling steals the show. Kicking off with number 10, The Beast Player Erin. This one's more contemplative, slower paced, but wildly immersive. Erin has a special gift. She communicates with magical creatures called beasts, which sounds cute until you realize these beasts are weaponized and political chess pieces. The story explores morality, power, and responsibility. Heavy stuff for a fantasy anime that's deceptively gentle in tone. The animation is elegant, the creatures are beautifully designed, and the world feels lived in, not just a backdrop for action. Erin's journey? Heartbreaking, inspiring, and occasionally maddening. Her stubbornness will make you want to shake the screen. Villains aren't cartoonish, their motivations are grounded, which makes conflicts resonate. If you enjoy fantasy that's as thoughtful as it is magical, this is a gem hiding in plain sight. It's like Game of Thrones with a soft filter and a magical zoo. Sliding to number 9, Thunderbolt Fantasy. Now, this is pure spectacle. Why? Because it's not just anime, it's puppet anime. Yes, the characters are literally puppets, but the sword fights are so intense you forget that's the case. It blends wuxia, fantasy, and insane choreography in a way that's hypnotic. The story? Classic good versus evil with betrayals, revenge, and honor codes. Nothing groundbreaking, but executed with flair. Humor and dramatic flair coexist, mostly through over-the-top villain speeches and clever timing. The design and puppetry make every fight scene feel like a handcrafted masterpiece. And the lore? Surprisingly deep for a show with puppets. Kingdoms, clans, curses, political intrigue, all in one package. If you dismiss it as gimmicky, you're missing one of the most visually unique and underrated fantasy adventures around. Landing on number 8, Nil Admirari no Tenbin. This one's a dark, romantic fantasy that creeps up on you. Our heroine gets caught in a mysterious conspiracy involving cursed books that can possess readers. Yes, it's as dramatic as it sounds, and yes, it's glorious. The aesthetic is gothic, moody, and absolutely gorgeous. Every frame looks like a painting. Characters have complex motivations, and the villains deliciously manipulative. They spent too much time reading how to be a memorable antagonist manuals. The pacing is deliberate, letting tension build like a slow-burn thriller, which makes payoffs feel satisfying. There's also a sprinkle of humour through awkward interactions and sly sarcasm, which stops things from being too grim. If you want fantasy that mixes mystery, romance, and supernatural intrigue in a visually stunning package, this one deserves a rewatch or how did I miss this moment. Looking at number 7, Le Chevalier d'Aeon. Historical fantasy meets supernatural mystery in France. And yes, it's as stylish as it sounds. Our protagonist is sharp, brooding, and wrapped in political conspiracies, thick as a French baguette. The plot twists keep you guessing. There's no safe corner in this show. The art is elegant, with dark tones and dramatic lighting that screams gothic intrigue. Fights are intense, but it's the mind games and social manipulations that steal the spotlight. Humour isn't overt, but the sarcasm and witty exchanges make the heavy drama bearable. Villains? Terrifying, morally complex, and often smarter than our hero, which is a rare treat. If you enjoy your fantasy dark, layered, and with enough twists to make your head spin, Le Chevalier d'Aeon is criminally underrated. Think French Revolution with magic, mystery, and murder plots galore. Sliding to number 6, Magic Knight Rayearth. Classic 90s fantasy vibes? Transported to a magical world where 3 schoolgirls become legendary knights. Yes, it's slightly over the top, but that's part of the charm. The characters are relatable, even with powers, and the villains? Surprisingly nuanced for a magical girl series. The art and animation are vibrant. Giant mechs, mystical creatures, and epic landscapes make the world feel alive. Humour comes from cultural fish-out-of-water moments, snarky dialogue, and occasional overreactions. It's like watching your childhood heroics, but with more edge and emotional stakes. The story balances action, friendship, and self-discovery, making it more than just flashy battles. If you slept on this one, you're missing a series that's both nostalgic and legitimately engaging. Magic's epic battles, heartfelt moments equals classic, underrated fantasy goodness. Kicking off number 5, Aquarion, Myth of Emotions. This anime is unapologetically wild. Mecha, romance, reincarnation, and emotional explosions all rolled into one. The main cast? Dramatic, over-the-top, yet lovable. You'll laugh, cringe, and root for them simultaneously. Battles are beautifully animated chaos, with mechs combining in ways that defy physics and sanity. The music? Epic enough to make you feel like you're piloting a giant robot yourself. The story can be a little confusing at times, But honestly, that's part of the charm. Characters' emotions literally fuel their powers, which leads to hilarious overreactions and heartfelt moments. Villains are melodramatic yet fun to hate, which keeps tension high without becoming unbearable. If you like fantasy with massive energy, slightly absurd stakes, and a soundtrack that hits like a cinematic bomb, Aquarion Myth of Emotions is a must-see. Sliding to number 4, Radiant. This one's a love letter to classic shonen with a French twist. Seth, the protagonist, wants to defeat the nemesis, monsters that rain down from the sky, and yeah, he's basically a magnet for trouble. Classic shonen energy. The animation is colourful, fights are flashy but strategic, and the supporting cast, surprisingly rich, each with quirks that make you care. Humour comes from Seth's cluelessness, snarky companions, and villainous overconfidence. You'll groan and laugh in equal measure. What's underrated here is how it balances fun and seriousness without feeling derivative. It's shonen done with charm, personality, and clever world building. If you're tired of generic Monster of the Week shows, Radiant adds stakes, humour, and heart in the right doses. Seriously, if you skipped it, your fantasy anime diet is missing some flavour. Landing on number 3, and trust me, it'll mess with your head in the best way possible. Drifters. Historical figures get plucked from death to fight in a chaotic fantasy world, and yes, it's as insane as it sounds. Blood, strategy, comedy, and chaos collide in glorious fashion. Characters are over the top, villains are menacing, and the plot twists, insane. It's brutal, it's dark, it's funny, often all at once. The animation is sharp, action sequences feel cinematic, and the soundtrack fuels every epic moment. Humour sneaks in via character reactions, absurd situations, and occasionally sadistic timing. The story doesn't spoon-feed you, which keeps your brain engaged, and the moral lines are delightfully blurry. If you want fantasy that punches you in the gut, teases your brain, and makes you laugh while doing it, Drifters is an absolute must-watch. A wild, chaotic, brilliant ride. Sliding to number 2, El Hazard, The Magnificent World. Early 90s magic meets modern-day fantasy that still holds up today. A group of students gets transported to the mysterious world of El Hazard, and yes, chaos ensues immediately. The world building is absurdly creative. Floating cities, magical beasts, and bizarre politics make every episode an adventure. Humour is rampant, with characters constantly misunderstanding the rules of the new world, yet there's genuine stakes, romance, and intrigue beneath the silliness. Protagonists are lovable idiots, side characters steal scenes, and villains, hilariously villainous, but sometimes sympathetic. The animation may show its age, but the energy, humour, and storytelling more than make up for it. If you want a fantasy series that's wacky, engaging, and surprisingly deep, El Hazard delivers. It's like a nostalgia bomb with actual substance, a rare combo. Finally, number 1, Ixion Saga DT. And yes, it's as chaotic, ridiculous, and hilarious as its title suggests. Our protagonist gets transported to a fantasy world where he's supposed to be a hero, but everything goes wrong immediately. Think overpowered protagonist meets absurd humour meets parody of every RPG trope you know. The cast is delightfully eccentric, rival heroes, scheming villains, and side characters who are more trouble than help. Humour is relentless, slapstick, sarcasm, ridiculous situations, and meta-jokes all woven together. Yet beneath the comedy, there's surprisingly decent storytelling, epic battles, and character moments that hit unexpectedly hard. Animation is energetic, fights are absurdly fun, and the soundtrack pumps hype into every scene. If you missed this, you missed a fantasy anime that doesn't take itself seriously, yet somehow nails the balance of heart, chaos, and sheer entertainment. And that's our rundown of 15 underrated fantasy anime you absolutely need to check out. Which ones have you seen, and which are hiding in your backlog? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you found a hidden gem, and don't forget to subscribe for more anime chaos, comedy, and epic adventures.